today we're going to be focused, leading up to this, we've had several, good meetings using video. A lot of our focus has been on defensive, legal guarding position, verticality, defensive play, what's legal, what's not. And then, of course, we've had a good amount of focus on player and team control fouls. So we've already kind of touched on a bunch of, foul scenarios. We're not going to go into any more of the player or team control fouls today, but we are going to take some time to go through, hey, Brian, to go through several other foul type scenarios. And so we'll have some will be longer than others. Some segments will be longer than others as far as fouls. And then hopefully we'll get to violations today as well. We want to try to get through fouls and violations. So, we're not going to spend a lot of time in the rule book, but I do want to just make sure you are aware, obviously, what rules we're in here. And we may refer to the rules at some point throughout the afternoon here. So, fouls and penalties is rule number 10, starting on page 66. And then violations and penalties is rule number 9, which starts on page 59. So, and we're going to go through, several different types of fouls and violations. We're not going to get to every single one. We're not going to spend a lot of time on administrative type technical fouls or things like that. We're going to spend more time on actual play scenarios, fouls during play, types of fouls, technical fouls, hard fouls, intentional, flagrant, that kind of stuff, okay? And then violations, we'll spend a good amount of time on stuff that, might happen a little more frequently, or stuff that we may miss more frequently, like backcourt plays, free throw violations, stuff like that, okay? Stuff that we're going to see on a regular basis. All right, so without further ado, let's jump into it. The very first foul scenario we have is hand checking. Now, a lot of this is taken from the NCAA. I even have some FIBA clips in here. So again, the importance here is not, like, those rules may be a little bit different on those levels, okay? But we're going to apply the high school rule, the National Federation of High Schools. We're going to apply that rule as we go forward here on each scenario, okay? But the hand checking rule is the first one. So let's just start and watch this play, and I want to get some feedback from you as always, okay? This is an interesting play, and the first time I watched it, I was scratching my head. So I want you to watch and tell me what you think. All right, you see what's going on there with the ball, right? Mm-hmm. How many times has he slapped the guy's hand away? 5, I think. I counted at least 5. All right, so now, again, when I first watched this play, I did see the guy slapping the hand away, and if you've reffed at all, if anybody has reffed basketball in here, which a few of us have, for many years, we've seen a player slap a defensive player's hand away. We've seen an offensive ball handler do that. So that's a common thing. And, especially early in my career, even more recently, I've been in situations where I've officiated where, what do I do with that? Because in my mind, nothing's happening. You can see here, even in this play, the guy's not really moving at the top there. He's dribbling the ball. There's no closely guarded count in the NCAA when a player is dribbling the ball. So keep that in mind, okay? So you don't have to worry about that. But he's dribbling the ball, and there's no count on that. But the defender's obviously within 6 feet, okay? He's got his hand on his hip. And what do we do with that offensive player continuously slapping that guy's hand away? It needs to be addressed, right? Would everyone agree that kind of a play needs to be addressed, especially if it happens multiple times? One time, we can probably live with it, but it happened at least 5 times in this video within a 5 to 10 second period. All right, so and you can see the referee finally makes a call. He lets him do it several times, and he finally makes a call. By the way, that referee is Tony Green, who reffed in the SEC and NCAA, worked Final Fours. He's retired now, but one of the best referees in the country. at the time. So anyway, just an extra thought there. But the point is here is, again, so I have a philosophy on a lot of this stuff, and many of you might too. We don't want to allow the slapping of the hand. If the guy doesn't slap his hand, I'm going to go back here. Okay, let's go back to the beginning. Because even he's like confused, like, why did I get called for that, right? Okay, so we're going to go back to the beginning, and we're going to look at it a little closer, and we're going to evaluate it based on some different information. So let's get over here. All right, so right there. Okay, so he's got his hand, that's the first time he's got his hand on his hip, right there, okay? Now, from a positioning standpoint, just briefly, and we got to get through a lot of material today, so I can't get too sidetracked here. We got to keep moving. But from a positioning standpoint, the trail has responsibility on this play, primary responsibility. The trail is over on that side, okay? The center official here, you can obviously see his head turned up there, but you also see the trail official looking out there. Now, what I would say in this scenario is, in our game, this trail official should be out here a little higher. There's no, everybody's back at the 3-point line except for this play. So I would like to see, if it were me, I would probably be right about here. This is the division line, okay? I would be right about here, so I'm more engaged in the play, and if I need to have a closely guard account, I can in FHS, and I can see through the play here, so I can see the entire thing, okay? All right? Plus, that also tells my partner, the center official, that I've actively got this play, okay? Now, we can also see a rotation happening, okay? And the lead is coming over, which means that what's eventually going to happen here is this guy is going to come out to trail and take primary, and the trail over there will move down into the center position, okay? So that's going to happen here in just a second. We're going to see it. But the point is like right now, this guy is refereeing, these two guys are refereeing two players, and the lead has responsibility on the other 8, which is not ideal, okay? So we kind of need to do a little, and this is at a very high level. This is an SEC game, good officials.
Why is the lead moving?
So that you can get the right guy.
Well, the lead is moving because that's the right thing to do. He needs to rotate to ball side, okay? He needs to rotate to ball side. It's just the coverage needs to be a little better as far as their eyes. That's all, okay? So if it were me, of course, if I'm in center, I'm looking at the trail, and if I see the trail looking at that play, I'm not going to look at the play. But I do at the same time know that my partner's coming over. So I'm going to be focused more in here because you got play right here, okay? You got a couple of matchups potentially right here. Nothing that's super like, the closest matchup other than that one is this one, all right? Which really, trail is also responsible for that one, and lead can extend and help with that as well. But since he's coming over, if I'm in C, I'm going to be kind of focusing my attention here, and I'm going to be seeing, of course, or knowing that lead is coming across, and I will be making my way up into trail, but keeping my focus here until I see the trail official release and go to center, okay? And when he releases, that's when I pick up the play as this official here, as my primary now, okay? Does that make sense to everyone? Again, we're not really focusing on positioning or anything like that today. This is more about the actual fouls, but we got to talk philosophy with some of this stuff too, as that's important. Okay, so again, now we'll go into the play itself and we'll get the rotation. All right, and now we've got 4, 5. Okay, so look.
The trail came up.
The trail did come exactly where I said. He did. He came right there, exactly where I said he should come. Okay, so. But now it's too late. He's too late because now the lead is fully across and the center official is coming up to take the play. All right. So he's a little late in doing that. All right. But you see how that's being executed there. All right. So, but again, back to the play itself. We've got 4 or 5 hand slaps, hand on his hip, hand on his hip, hand on his hip, hand on his hip. Now, if the offensive player, and I'm going to finish with this and we're going to move on. If the offensive player does not slap his hand away, I will have no whistle on this play, and neither would Tony Green, okay? Neither would these officials. I can tell you that 100%. But because he's slapping away, That's why the whistle was blown for a hand checking foul. Okay? All right. So again, that's really the point that I wanted to make with this scenario here. Just so we understand exactly what the hand checking rule is, which it was on the screen earlier, but you can look at your rule book and look to make sure. But here's the thing with hand checks. Hand checks, other than this play here, which obviously needed to be called because of the slap away, hand checks should be called, and this is not directly from the rule book, okay, but hand checks should be called when it impacts a player's normal movement. So if this ball handler is trying to go north-south, and what I mean by that is toward the basket instead of east-west, which is sideline to sideline, okay? All right. If he's going sideline to sideline, east-west, then that hand contact is still not as important, and we shouldn't make a call until it's excessive, or a situation like this where he's slapping away, or then he begins to go north-south. So when he begins to go north-south, and that hand-checking action, whether it's one hand, an armbar, or two hands, impedes his ability to go north-south, that's when the whistle should be blown for a hand check. Okay? That's our hand check rule in a nutshell. Is there any questions about that?
Two hands are automatic.
Two hands, according to the rule book, is automatic. Or what's the word? Well, no, I'm trying to think of the exact word. When it's left on, like you can do that. You can do kind of a hot stove, but if you continue to do a hot stove, according to rules, it's supposed to be called prolonged. Thank you. That's prolonged contact is leaving a stayed hand on there. According to the rule book, is a hand checking foul. By rule. However, again, and we're going to move on, we don't need to call those. We call them when it affects the movement of the offensive player, when it affects the ball handler. That's when a hand check is called. And one more thing I'm going to say on a hand check play before we move on is if the offensive player has beaten the defender, even with the arm, or the hand on his hip, if torso and chest have beaten the defender, okay, so I've beaten the defender toward the basket, there is absolutely no reason to call a hand checking foul. That's a disruption of the game. Okay, it's a game interrupter is what I call it. All right? So just keep that in mind. Hand checks have their place, and they are important in certain instances, but you get the idea. Any questions before we move on to the next play? Good, that's pretty easy. But I wanted to focus on that because I see way too many hand checks called that should not be called. All right, the next one is a hold. I believe this is a FIBA game. And we're going to have ads here because I don't have the free version, so bear with me here on occasion with these ads. But okay, so yeah, this is a FIBA situation. It's on a rebound. All right, look under the basket here in just a sec. I think it'll highlight the two players. Yeah, okay, so these two players at the top right now, but they're going to go to the basket. And it's off ball, okay? Okay, you see that? Yeah, so who do you think the hold's on? Did you see it? You think it's on the offense or the defense?
I think it's on the defensive player.
Hold on the defensive player?
The defensive player is holding the offensive player.
Let's back it up and watch it one more time. Oh, I didn't go back far enough, sorry.
Well, he's pointing.
Oh, no. So the offensive
No, you had it right the first time, David. Yeah, the defensive player holds first. Now, at the very end of the play, which we'll see here in a minute, the offensive player also brings his arm down to hold. But the initial hold is on the defensive player. Okay, so we'll because they're going to show an under the basket view, I believe here. So, yeah. All right, so let's get to the next. They'll do a replay of it here under the basket, I believe. Yeah, he called it on the defense and that's the right call. Here we go. All right, so you see the hold right there.
Yeah.
He holds him from going up to get the rebound, and then White kind of wraps, just to try to gain an advantage. He wraps the elbow. Okay, that's a tough play there. Because if you don't catch that first foul on the defensive player, there's a very good chance that you could call it on the offensive
you do see
team.
the arm.
Because you see the arm come up like this, right? Okay, yeah. So, but the
Tim, a lot of times, we're all guilty of it. Something happens, we don't see it, then we see
Yep.
someone retaliating. We
Absolutely.
See it, then we call it.
Absolutely. And we're going to see that on some technical fouls and stuff later on. You're right. I mean, it happens a lot. So we have to be a little more alert and get the first foul as much as we can. Okay? That's good. Yeah.
But the lead should have those anyway, because we're coming down the lane. Those the only other action we really have, right?
Yeah, the lead has primary on that play, and obviously he's got two matchups there. He's got two matchups right there in the circle, basically, that he's responsible for. The lead is, okay? But at this point, I think the shot has already gone up or is about to go up. So, yeah, it's a tough play. Okay. All right, but that's a hold. All right, so again, and I should have done this for the hand-checking one too. I'll try to do this as we go along here just to give you signals on everything too. But the hand check is signal. If you're going to signal a hand check or call a hand check, this is the signal, okay? All right? And then a hold is here. Some guys have things about, they don't do a football hold, or, like, I don't even know how the football hold is, but just it doesn't really matter. Just, a hold is like this, okay? You can do it, if you want to show something that's a little more applicable to the actual play, like, for instance, if I have, and I don't have video plays and all this stuff, but if I had a situation where a player was holding a jersey, this is how I would report it. Okay, this is how I would show it. I would show it with, a fist of my own jersey. Okay, I would say, report the number, right? White 33, hold. Okay, got his jersey, whatever, something like that. All right, or if it's down here, you can do this, or if it's up here, obviously you can do this. It's just really depends on the actual situation. And in that situation, you can't really do all the stuff that he was doing. So just a simple hold signal is fine for that play, okay? All right, so that's a hold. Next one is a push. We got a pushing play here. Let's watch this one. All right, so this is highlighting the official too. Really watching the play, which is good because right here you see, do you see that? Do you see that contact by the defensive player pushing the screener, the offensive screener, off of his path, basically, okay? All right, that's the foul that was called by the official, and that's the correct call. It's a pushing foul. If you finish the play here, they're rewinding. Let's finish the play and see what happens. Yeah, see, he gets it right away, and he's looking right through the play. It's very well executed as far as that's concerned. A clear push, okay?
He wasn't able to complete his screen.
Exactly. So there you go. Beautiful. And then you report to the table just like you did. Push, okay? All right, here's the next video. This one is, I believe, on screening. Let me look here. Yeah, screens. Okay, good. And again, this is an NBA video from Joe Borgia several years ago. And there's several screens here in play. So we'll look at some, I believe, that are illegal first, and then legal, I believe. Let's get to the actual, okay, here we go. It's coming here quick. Or not. Okay. All right, screening a moving defender. These videos are good because they highlight the players. You really get a good look at these plays. Okay, so that's legal. All right. He's there. Doesn't move. That's a legal screen on a moving defender. Okay? All right. Our next play.
A little bit of a hold on
By the defensive player? Yeah, but you're going to bypass that. Okay. The next one is, okay, so that one is different. That one's illegal. Same situation, moving defender, but he's not set. He goes outside his frame, that leg, left leg and knee. Give the offensive team an advantage, and that's when you should call it when that happens, okay? All right, any questions on that one? Next one. 21 here is, again, not legal and continuing to move to create space for the offensive player. All right? So, boom, he turns and bumps the defender back to create space for the offensive player. That is illegal. If he stayed where he was, right in his position, it would have been fine. The defender would have had to have gotten around him, but he didn't do that. All right, next play. What do you think about that one? Legal or illegal?
Now he turns on the hand after he hands it off.
He hands it off and turns, right?
Right.
Never establishing legal screening position. He knocks the defender off. Clearly offensive because of that right there. Now he embellishes a little bit too, but there's enough contact there to make it worthy of a call illegal screen. All right. Next one here is 13 is the screener, I believe. Again, moving to create space, continuing to move outside his normal screening area to create space for the shooter. Illegal. Yep, pretty easy, huh? Some of these are easy. They should be anyway. All right, let's go to the next one here. I think it's about to go to the next one. Okay, screening a stationary defender. LeBron James, when he played for the Cavaliers,
For the second time.
right? Okay.
There's Corver.
All right, so that's a legal screen. I mean, obviously, he comes down to set the screen. LeBron goes the other way, but that's legal. The defender is not moving. This is basically saying that's okay, that's legal. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all that one is. Here's the next one. Number 12 there is going to set a back screen on the, kind of back side. Okay, you see there, obviously, he puts his leg out and his elbow and knocks him off, the defender off his path. Clear offensive, illegal screen. Legal screening stance. Okay, this will give an example of a legal screening stance. He's good. He's within his body. He's within his frame. These are perfect just for this reason. And the commentary on these are good, but that's okay. You can see he's within his frame. Both, from both angles, he's good. Got his arms in. That's it. Okay, so they were just showing that's a good example of a legal screen stance. All right. Next one here looks like it's going to be 11.
It's a push.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It wasn't 11. It was 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
20. Yeah, 23. He used his hands obviously to get that defender off his path. All right. So that's illegal. Is that? That's Anthony Davis. Yep. Okay. All right. 42. He's within his frame, which is fine. Even though he's a little farther extended from his shoulder, he kind of juts himself out at the last minute and gives him a hip check or a knee check there and knocks him off his path. That's illegal.
Even if he trips though, right there.
If he stands still, if the screener stands still on that play, there's nothing.
Even if he trips.
Even if the defender trips,
over
if the screener stands still on the play, it would typically be a no call. Okay. Now you can't go so far outside your frame, but there is some flexibility allowed in that, as long as you're not like, as long as I'm not here. Okay. I can. This is outside of my normal shoulder. I would say this is a little bit outside of my normal shoulder frame, right? But I've got my arms in and I don't make any movement. This is okay, all right? It's when I do all that extra stuff when it becomes illegal and you contact opponents. Now, keep in mind, the last play may have this scenario, or he says it on the video. If there's no contact on what would otherwise be illegal movement, it is not an illegal screen. It's not a foul, okay? And of course, we've all heard fans especially, but even some coaches, ask for an illegal screen when there's no contact. There has to be contact to be a foul, especially in a screening situation. Okay, you can have a technical foul without contact, but you can't have a contact foul without contact. Okay, so keep that in mind. You can move all you want with a screen as long as it's not, you're not contacting the opponent illegally. All right, 21 is in his frame. See, he's even outside. His legs are wide on this play. But the difference here is that the defender stops short and doesn't try to go around, doesn't try to come like around either way and get tripped up by his legs. So this is a legal screen with that in mind, okay? Because he's pretty wide. His stance is very wide there. But the defender kind of meets him at the point of the screen and then comes off. Obviously, the dribbler helped with all that because he didn't continue. But
If he blows it up, though, that's going to be a foul on the defender, though, right? If he blows him up because the contact's torso.
if he runs through him, yes. We'll see plays about that in a minute here.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. All right, what do you think about that one?
No.
Legal. He holds his ground. That's a legal screen. Legally established position. The only thing that happens is the defensive player, he firms up, which is fine. Basically you're tensing your body a little bit is what that means. And the defensive player initiates the contact. That's a no call, okay? That's obviously illegal because he stepped out and gave him a shoulder bump. All right, there's a couple more plays here just to look at on screens.
Give him skates.
So it's a team control foul.
Correct. Yep.
What's your mechanic on that?
Hang on, let's finish and then I'll do the mechanics. Let's finish the plays here. All right, did anybody see that one? All right, so look right here at those two players. Yep, right there. Now he was okay at first, but then he kind of brought his elbow up and bumped the defender off. You can see here at the end, right there, and that was enough to create space for the guy to get the interior pass. Again, outside his frame, and the dribbler continues, so that is an illegal screen. And I think that's the last play. So let's get, yep, okay. Get to the next one here, and I'm going to pause it. Okay, all right. Get through the commercial here first, sorry.
You do Tai Chi.
All right, okay, all right, so those screens are team control fouls, as Al mentioned already. To be honest, I don't even know the current team control foul signal. It used to be just a fist in the other direction, okay? Literally all I'll do is, I think you have to put your head behind your back, a hand behind your head now. But the point is look, I don't care if you do that or not, okay? Communicate it, sell it, especially if it's off ball, you're going to have to sell it, okay? So just blow the whistle and offense. That's what I'm going to do, okay? Especially if it's off ball.
Team control or illegal screen.
Yep.
Offense.
Offense or illegal is what I'm going to holler, okay? And it's going to be loud, and everyone's going to know. I'm going to blow that whistle and go illegal, and everyone's going to see it and hear it, and I'm going to be pointing the other direction, okay? All right, so that's just communicate effectively in that way. You don't have to have the perfect signal. Really, you don't have to have the perfect signal. You get the play right, you're in position, you get the play correct, and you communicate effectively. That's the key here, okay?
The way you report it to
So then when you report it to the table, that's a little bit different. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is when I go to the table, white 33, illegal screen, just like a blocking foul, okay? Illegal screen, okay? All right, very good. Okay, now we're going to look at displacement, different types of displacement. A lot of these are on rebounding situations. So we'll look at these here. Oh, no. Whoa, I didn't want to go that far. I wanted to go, hang on. Let's go back to the beginning here. Okay. All right. Oh, another advertisement. Sorry. We seem to be getting a lot of advertisements today. All right. Okay. So watch and see. You see it in real time? Did anybody see that in real time? Nobody. Okay. Let's watch it again. It's not on the shot. Okay. Legal. And then big red 14 puts his elbow in the back of white 44.
Yeah.
Displacement on a rebound, gains an advantage, clear foul, and no call on this play. Okay, all right. So now, if you do have the call, it should be Leeds' call. Although, well, let's see. This might be a two-person. I think it is two-person. So it's definitely Leeds' call in this situation. It would just, instead of going the other way, obviously it's on the red team, right, and the white team is shooting. It's on the rebound, so there's no team control. However, we're staying on the same end, so it's beep, stay here is the way I'm going to signal it, okay? Stay here, and then when I go to the table, red 14, push, okay, on the rebound. All right, next play. So again, on the rebound, that one's pretty obvious, right? Yeah. Did the offensive player do anything wrong? Replay the play in your mind. Okay, has the offensive player done anything wrong? No, he went straight up, right? Yep. The little guy is continuing to walk under him. The guy in white shirt walking under him clearly displaces him. That is a foul on white 100 times out of 100, okay? And it's, again, so that one is staying on the same end because I believe white's on defense, right? So, again, it's the same signal that I just did earlier for the last play, okay? All right, next play. This is on the free throw. Now, what do you think? So it was on the free throw shooter. Did you see it? You didn't see it. You didn't see it. No. This is a foul on the free throw shooter.
Yeah, so white can't cross the free throw line until the ball hits the rim either, the other way, but also the displacement.
Correct. Yeah, violation too is what you're saying, but yes.
I would get the foul instead of violation.
Yeah, well, there's a thought to that, but we're going to talk about violations later. So, now, I'm not saying this is not a foul, and there is an emphasis, at least in the last couple of years, there's been a greater emphasis on protecting free throw shooters. So this probably should be called, but you need to be careful with that because a lot of times, if there's not contact, like the defensive player will come up and box the shooter out, which is what they're told to do, right? Okay. So if there's slight contact that doesn't truly displace the free throw shooter, you should not call that. It should only be on obvious displacement to knock the free throw shooter, back, such as this. So just be careful with those plays is all I'm saying. And obviously that's Trail's responsibility. Again, a two-person game here, Trail's responsibility. Which Trail has a lot of responsibilities on free throws, but he's got to get that too. Okay, next play. Thanks to Brian Johnson. Now this is an interesting play. Yeah, so this is an interesting play. I want you to watch it again. It's going to show it again here in a minute. All right, so the ball's loose, right? Ball's loose. So what do we know about, what do we know to be true by the rule book when the ball is loose?
No player control.
Well, there's no player or team control on this scenario because it's from a shot. Okay, there could be team control, all right, but there's no player control, all right. And in this situation, there's no team control either. But other than that, what do we know? In regards to like contact stuff, that's something that's about to happen here, contact. What do we know when the ball is loose?
They're going to be going. They're going to go all out for it.
The rule book says basically that each player is, if they're in an equally favorable position to get the ball, any contact in that situation should be ruled incidental. Okay, incidental contact, which we're gonna talk about incidental contact here in a little bit too. Okay, so the first thing you should be aware of when you see a play like this is, okay, I gotta referee this play with the idea that are they in equally advantage or equally favorable positions, and right now they are.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, and if there's any contact, do I deem it incidental, or is there going to be enough contact to call a foul on one player or the other? And if I do, which one's it going to be? Okay, all right. So you have to be able to, on these plays especially, you're going to have to be able to explain yourself as if you do call a foul. Well, even if you don't, you're going to have to explain yourself because you're going to see bodies on the floor and they're going to wonder. One of these 12, I think, gets hurt too. So the coach is probably like, why wasn't there a foul if you don't call a foul? Okay. However, what happens in this play, this is according to the commentator, and I don't know necessarily that I agree fully with this, but you can kind of see it. I'll play it here in just a minute. Basically, what he's saying happens is the girl in the dark uniform, which is to the left there, okay, does not go directly to the ball. Instead of making a play on the ball, she makes a play on the player, okay? So, therefore, the incidental contact rule is no longer valid. It would be, now, to see that in live play is a whole different argument because I'm going to be honest with you, if I see that in live play, I'm probably not going to have a whistle, okay? As a matter of fact, I'll probably have a whistle on the scrum once they're on the floor. Yes, when she jumps on. But the whistle comes, see, he's talking about it now. Instead of going directly toward the ball, she's gonna go toward the player instead, okay? And it'll play here in just a sec. So she knocks the player, and you can see it. Again, in real time, this is going to be really hard to call. I'm probably not going to call this a foul on that black-shirted player in real time because I'm going to feel like they're both going after the ball at the same time, basically. Okay? And I'm not sure if they're going to show the scrum on the floor afterward, but we can go back if need be. Come on, we got the message here. I'm going to go back to the beginning so that we can look at that. The scrum, okay, because I feel like the scrum should be called a foul, just so we are all aware of that, okay? All right, so let's go through the play live again, and then there is when the foul on White, for sure there's a foul on White because she jumps on the girl with the ball on the floor, okay? All right. So again, I would just, I'm not saying that wasn't a foul on the black shirt player. I would just say be careful, and in real time, that's going to be really hard. So do not, in real time, you're going to be faced with a quick decision process. Do not make something up. Do not guess. If you're not sure, allow it to play on, because if you're not sure, you're not going to be able to explain it correctly to a coach. Okay? So allow it to play. And we're going to see another situation like that later on, which in my mind is a different play, but we're gonna see that here in a few minutes. So, all right, so that's that one. And then our final play here is off-ball screener, I believe, on this video. Oh, I got to hit play, sorry. Now, hold on. Now, okay, so, well, I shouldn't say anything. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to let you referee the play.
Oh, yeah, he blew up the screen right there.
Yeah, okay, so you saw it.
Hey, you pushed it and you just blew him up.
Okay, so not too many people are going to, especially if you watch, like the first time I watched this video, I watched the ball, okay? I watched the ball, and there's a clear foul on the ball too. However, that's not what this play is about. It's off ball. And again, this is two-person, so let me just say, you can see where the the lead's eyes are, okay? The lead is not looking here. The lead is looking out there at the ball, okay? That's his first mistake. The lead has no primary on the ball in 2 or 3 person in this situation. Trail has primary on the ball right there, or if it's a 3-person, center would have primary on the ball out there on the wing, okay? All right, so as the play develops, you can continue to see that the referee in lead is watching the ball pretty much and doesn't see anything that's going on right here. He's not looking there. He's looking out there, okay? He's not seeing anything that's happening right here, and this is about to get bad. And he, boom, just runs over a legal screen, okay? Should be a foul on red. Not even paying attention. He's like over there in his own little world. But then, right after that, you have a clear foul there as well. And look at him. He's calling the block. He's calling the blocking foul. Because he's watching the play from the very top. And so that's a little lesson for us in, making sure our eyes are where they're supposed to be. More than anything. You should not. You got to know your primary. And again, we will get into that in a meeting in about, I think, 2 weeks. We'll be going over primary, secondary, court coverage, all that kind of stuff. You have to know your primary areas, and you have to train your brain and train your eyes to referee in your primary and stay out of areas that you should stay out of with your eyes. Okay, all right. And then know where your secondary is as well, and when you can go get a secondary play, stuff like that. But in this situation, his primary is not where he's looking, or it is. I mean, he's not looking where his primary is. Okay, so that's the key on this one, and that's a clear foul by the red player there. And I think that's it. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next one here. That's displacement. So again, those are pretty. I don't really need to give you signals on any of those, or they're all pretty much, either push or like run through screens. Push for the most part on all of those plays. All right, next thing we're getting into is intentional fouls. Now it's going to get fun. Some of them are obvious, some of them aren't.
What you be watching on YouTube to get this ass apart?
Dude, I'm not watching anything on YouTube. They're just coming up. Yes, Larry.
Back to the loose ball. Does it make a difference who may touch the ball first or gets to the ball?
On the loose ball play? No, I don't think so. Not really. Good question, though. All right, let's see. Let's go to our first play here. So he's going through the actual intentional foul rule, which you guys can go through on your own. Okay, we'll talk about a little bit of it as we go along here, but we're going to just look at plays and determine intentional, flagrant, or common, intentional, flagrant, nothing. What you got on that one? Now, first of all, you can see the referee making a signal. That's a really weak signal, okay? That's a really weak signal. But you can already see he's making an intentional foul call, which is the correct call, okay? Because, as you can see, the player in red...
He's not even trying to make a basketball play.
No, he's not. He just throws him to the ground.
And then it looks like he wants to jump on it.
Yeah, kind of. He looks down at him like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like,
can tell by the way
just,
he walks away, he knew it too.
yep,
He knew what he did.
exactly. All right. So pretty easy, pretty obvious. Now, I've seen plays like this just called common fouls, okay? I mean, and you can see the closed captioning there. He says simple low-level intentional foul because of excessive contact, basically. All right. But I've seen plays like this called common fouls. Plays like this should not be called a common foul. That play should always be called an intentional foul. Okay. So again, part of the reason why we're looking at plays like this is so that everyone can train their eyes to what an intentional foul looks like, so that you can actually call it in your game and not just call a common foul.
But a intentional foul depends on severity of the intentional foul to be upgraded to a flagrant foul.
Yeah, not just severity, but yes, it could be upgraded to flagrant. Yes, and we'll look at flagrant fouls in a minute. All right. Okay, so that's the first play. That's pretty obvious, pretty easy. Let's go to the second play here. All right, so we got a fast break here, kind of scrum here, but then we got a fast break, and we got a defender coming from behind and just hammers him. Now, was he playing the ball? Okay, so part of our intentional foul rule is what? No play on the ball, right? That's part of our rule. Now, there's more to it than that, but we can help judge intentional foul contact by no play on the ball potentially. Okay. Which he was playing the ball on that, as far as I could tell. Anybody else have a different take on that? You feel like he was playing the ball?
He was definitely playing the ball.
Playing the ball, but he's also playing a whole lot of his opponent, too much. And so again, excessive contact, in the back, toward the basket. Obviously, the kid's down. Again, should be a no-brainer. Intentional foul. Now, the other thing we see on this play, and this is why I stopped it right here. You can. They were in the frame better earlier, but it's okay. So this guy, I believe, was in lead. The one here, with his back to us. Okay, and I believe this guy was over here in the center trail. Okay, whatever it was. So he's the calling official, I believe, the guy with his back to us, and you can see they're talking, which is good. Okay, so you have a foul like that, even though the first one that we had, it didn't happen in the first one, but it's a good idea for two of your, one of your partners, at least one, okay? All three do not have to get together if there's a three-man crew, but at least two of you get together, the calling official and one other, so that you can just discuss it together quickly and make sure that you're on the same page. And so, like, what they probably are talking about here is whether or not it should be upgraded from an intentional to a flagrant. Okay, so there's some plays where you're gonna have the conversation. Hey Al, what'd you think of that play? Should I go common or intentional? Okay, or it could be, hey Al, what'd you think of that play? Intentional or flagrant? Okay, and so we have a quick conversation. Al says, let's, we're not really I don't really feel like the where the game needs a flagrant foul, and it was just a hard play. He played the ball. Let's just go with intentional, right? Al might say something like that. Boom, I'm gone. I reported intentional, and we go. Okay? Does that make sense? It's super quick. We're not going to stand and talk a long time. We're just going to have a real, and sometimes I'll literally, like, if I already kind of know if I'm the calling official and I know what I've got, and let's say, I'm going to walk by Brian to the table to report. Hey, I'm going to say to Brian, hey, Brian, intentional, right? And Brian will just be like, yeah, absolutely. And that's it. We don't even have to stop, okay? But it's confirmed. I just want to just confirm it. And I've got, we're a crew, so we should, that's part of being a team and, team officiating. So that's good, okay? All right, so that's the idea there. Now, and they don't, actually it was the other guy. Okay, so the other guy, the other guy had the foul call. But anyway, you get the idea, okay? All right, next play. Let's go to the next play. Next play. All right, wait for it here. Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Lots going on, and nothing yet. Oh, this one draws. Wait a minute. I'm sorry. He's given this. That's not even a play. I'm sorry. I got to keep going here. He was giving credit to this Desert Valley. Okay, here's the next play. I apologize.
Oh my goodness.
Easy, right? Easy. Definitely easy. Okay, now this is a last minute, like during the last minute of the game, fairly close game. You can't quite see exactly what the score is up there. 47-43. So you can see the score, but it's down toward the end of the game, fourth quarter. Obviously, this is a foul to stop the clock. Okay, but that's excessive contact, and he did more than just foul to stop the clock. There was no play on the ball. It was shoulder, or above, contact, which is all good criteria for intentional at least. Okay. Again, I don't think he had a conversation with his partner here, but I would not give a flagrant foul on this play unless the guy took it further and threw him in the stands. Okay, which he didn't do. He just kind of wraps him up around the shoulders and kind of lazily kind of lays him to the ground. Enough for an intentional, not enough for a flagrant. Okay, because he's clearly trying to stop the clock. That's the point here, and he knows it. Yeah, and he kind of lets up on him, but he knows it right away. So pretty easy there, okay? Next play. All right, what do you think about that one? So now that one's a little harder because he gets himself out of legal position, verticality, and he's trying to play the ball, right? So let's see if they show it again here. And they're having the conversation. That's good. He goes intentional. They're going to go back to the play here. I think they will here in just a sec. All right. So, again, he just gets himself out of legal position defensively. And on his way down, it's pretty hard contact. He is playing the ball, and it finishes with the guy, both players come to the floor, but one guy on his back. So, again, just literally because of excessive contact, it's for sure worth the conversation to have. Hey, just want to make sure that's good for intentional, and so on and so forth. Okay, and that's another play. Even though he's playing the ball, he comes down hard on him. Yep. So don't just have a common foul there. That's the key. Is there one more play, or is that the last one? I think there's. One more play here.
There's a bonus play too.
Oh, another ad. All right. Now, okay, so there's nothing there, okay, but this sets the stage for what's about to happen. So the kid goes in and dunks on him over two guys, right? All right. Now let's watch what happens next. Pressure here, trying to get it across half court. There's going to be a steal. Same kid.
Hey, dunking this time, Chief. Yeah, that might be.
That would be an ejection on that.
There you go. Okay, so that's where you definitely. So he immediately goes intentional on that one, but that's where you definitely are thinking, okay, that's probably flagrant. Let me go to my partner and see what he thinks. Because again, you're in the moment. So I would always do this as much as you can, okay? You're in the moment. You don't want to eject a player unless you have to, okay? So just always keep that in mind. Now, there's going to be times when you have to, and it's necessary. And this is probably one of them. But you don't want to do that unless you have to. So take your time when determining that. So boom, he goes up intentional right away as he goes to the table. I don't know if he does or not, but he should. As I go to the table, if I have that play, I'm going to stop and talk to one of my partners and say, that was pretty hard, and the kid could have like a neck injury. He could be paralyzed. You think we should go flagrant on that? And my partner's probably going to be, if he had a look at the play, he's going to be like, yeah, we probably should. Okay, so and there you go.
So they go through the procedure.
Upgrade.
Well, he's
Okay.
already got the flagrant up, so you're going flagrant, but we're going to eject.
No, that's not flagrant. That's intentional.
Intentional.
This is the intentional foul call.
That's right, that's right.
So you have an intentional foul call. This is the signal. Okay. All right. And then you just report it to the table. White 33, intentional foul. The penalty is 2 shots and the ball at the spot nearest to where the foul occurs. That's for intentional. Okay. So if the ball, let's play it a step further here. If the ball goes in on an intentional foul, what's the penalty then?
2 shots.
You score the basket, they still get 2 shots and the ball. Okay? So it's 2 shots regardless,
Unless it's a missed 3-pointer.
unless it's a missed 3-pointer.
What
Very good.
about if he can't shoot the free throw too? Can and shoot them.
Substitute.
His substitute will come in and shoot the free throws for him. Yep. Okay. And then you always take the ball at the spot of the throw-in. Now, if you go flagrant, okay, which again on this play you very likely could and should, okay, then flagrant foul is treated differently. A flagrant foul is ejection for the player. It's still 2 shots, okay. If the ball goes in, you're going to count the basket. If it doesn't, obviously you don't count it, but you're going to shoot 2 shots regardless on a flagrant foul, okay, and you're going to take the ball at the division line opposite, okay, which I think the table's on this side, but I'm not sure, okay. Opposite table, division line, throw-in after the 2-shot free throws. James.
Is there a flagrant 1 and a flagrant 2 in high school?
No. Nope. Basically the intentional is similar to the flagrant 1 in NCAA and the NBA. And then a flagrant foul in high school is flagrant 2 at those levels. Okay, so yeah. All right.
On that flagrant, do you just point him out to the door? Is that what you do?
Right, disqualified.
You could. I don't really like to do the baseball toss. It depends on the situation, probably. If I'm upset with the coach or a player, they're just being a knucklehead, and I've just ejected them, then I may do that just because it's fun for me. But I'm just saying, like,
It's a lot of fun.
yeah,
Trust me, as a baseball
yeah,
umpire, it's a lot.
yeah. But in basketball, we don't typically do the baseball toss. Okay, we're just going to, yeah. I mean, there may be a signal for it. I don't care. I'm just going to report it to the table and make sure the coach hears me say it. That's a flagrant foul ejection on number 33 for White. Okay, all right. So, yeah, and that's fine. I mean, again,
I've been talking to them too.
yeah, the coach is probably going to want to know why. Okay, which at that point you need to
I'd
use.
say you go home and look at your film.
You look at the film. Yeah, I would probably say that, but use rulebook terminology too. Excessive contact, no play on the ball. The kid probably has a neck injury. If it was your kid, and this, I would literally say this to a coach if he continues to argue. If it was your kid in that situation, would you be asking me for a flagrant foul? Yes, you would. End of discussion. End of discussion. Okay? So that's it. All right. So there you go. Okay? They got no argument to that. He can sit there and him and haw all he wants, but sorry.
He never
Didn't
got
throw him out.
above the guy's waist.
Yeah, and then you can throw him out, right? Yeah. And that's when I do the baseball toss. No. All right. Okay. Let's see if there's any other plays here. I think that was the last one.
Hey, Tim, just tell the younger guys, towards the end of the game,
Yeah.
there's gonna be intentional fouls, but you don't call them intentional. To stop the clock, to put them on the free throw line, by rule, it's intentional, but you don't call it intentional. You always try to make them.
Yeah, yes. By rule, it is an intentional foul to stop the clock. Yes, to gain an advantage. But yes, we're not. Yeah, if they play the ball, if it's slight contact, clearly for them to just stop the clock, then no, we would not call an intentional foul on that.
Less playing the ball, they just grab it.
Which I still wouldn't call.
I'm not gonna call
Yeah.
it. No, that's
The
what-
the one we saw where he grabbed his neck, that's different.
That's
Okay.
different.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, if they just grab them on the hips or even wrap them up like this, if they're trying to stop the clock, look, you can have a conversation with the player too and say to them, if you feel like the context was close to excessive,
Exactly.
hey, make sure you're making a play on the ball. Be careful because you could get an intentional foul here.
Close.
Yes. Okay. James.
So, why would you call it that way?
What do you mean?
Like,
It's called.
It's part of the game. It's part of the game.
Basically.
Yeah.
Hold on. Ask the full question. Why?
so why would you call basically a common foul when it's clearly an intentional foul?
It's called,
Getting
Game
out.
It's
management.
it's just
It's-
common
management.
rules, just good common knowledge on the floor.
common sense.
Common sense.
Mhm.
It's common sense. You just don't do it. You do that, a guy, as I just told Tim, tries to stop the clock, and it's intentional up here, but you just don't call it. If you do, you're gonna get in a lot of trouble.
It's just James. The short answer to that is it's an acceptable part of basketball.
Exactly.
Can I ask one more question?
You can ask another question. Yeah.
So then why don't they just foul by making kind of an
They
an
typically do
excessive,
two
an
hands.
excessive play,
Hang on.
an excessive play on the ball.
Well, they
Like
do.
you just
they
reach in
do a
real
lot of
far so that.
Why don't players do that? Because players are dumb. I mean, they're teenagers. Not, I mean, I shouldn't say dumb, but they're young. They're dumb. Okay, Daniel's been there. James, you've probably been there too. Okay, so the point is that their coach is telling them to foul. Okay, and they don't have. They may not even have the body. What's the word I'm looking for?
Coordination.
Say it again.
Coordination.
The coordination potentially to be able to stop themselves. They just know I've got to get to that player and stop the clock. I've got to foul him however I can foul him, right? Okay? And so that's why if it's a situation where it's potentially excessive, but we want to err on the side of, allowing the play to just be called a common foul so that we don't influence the outcome of the game. Does that make sense? Okay, then we would have the conversation with that player. Okay, so if the same player does it twice in a row, after you've had the conversation with them, you can call it a second time. Okay, and you should. Does that make sense? And I don't mean to point you out, but that's a good question for the group. It's a good question, but we want to err on the side of allowing the game to finish in the best way possible, in the least controversial way possible, okay, but still within the scope of the rules.
Want the teams to decide, not the officials.
As much as we can, okay? All right? So, all right, good. But very good question. All right, so now these are, I think not all of them. Some of them are intentionals. There's some flagrant fouls here and some technicals. So let's look at these plays real quick. First play here, see if you catch it in real time. So he gets fouled, and I paused it right at the right time. He's got 2 feet in the kid's chest, and he kicks him. Now, by rule, what is that act?
It's flagrant.
It's a fighting act, which is a flagrant act. Okay. So, and that was the point of the commentator here is this was called an intentional foul or a technical foul because he got fouled on the shot. So that player on the floor got fouled by the white team on the shot, and then he goes to the floor because of the contact, and he just takes his 2 feet and kicks the kid in the chest. The referees called a technical, which is it's a dead ball. Okay, so there could be debate there, but based on the act itself, the 2 feet in the chest, kicking a kick, the rule book says a fist, kick. I don't know exactly what it says on a fighting act.
Intentional or flagrant contact foul while the ball is dead is under the definition of a technical foul.
No. Tell me what does it say about fighting? Flagrant fighting act, flagrant. What does it say about that?
Striking, kicking, or kneeing.
Striking, kicking, or kneeing. So striking with the fist, kicking, or kneeing, like especially if you knee someone in the nuts or something like that. Okay, so yes, so any of those would be considered a fighting act and is an ejection.
So it would still be.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Jason.
Just for clarity, administratively, 2-shot foul for the shooting foul.
If it's a flagrant.
No,
No, hang on. Are you asking administratively if it's a flagrant?
Foul on the shot.
If we're calling a flagrant here?
Yes.
Okay.
So how do you administrate the foul on the shot?
Yep.
And then the flagrant?
Okay, so the kid that committed the flagrant foul is the one that got fouled
Yep.
on the common foul, shooting foul, okay? So his substitution will have to come in and shoot the 2 shots for the shooting foul, okay? Lane's cleared for all these free throws, by the way. Lane's cleared for those 2, and then the flagrant foul calls shots will be shot, and the ball will be taken at the division line opposite table. Yeah, the flagrant foul can be shot by anybody on the team, the other team, white team. Okay, very good.
then they get the ball out of bounds at midcourt.
Division line throw-in after the 2 free throws. Yep. Okay. All right. And then the player is ejected. The only difference here is they call it technical instead of a flagrant. So if you do it that way, it's the same. It's the same thing, except for that kid is he's not ejected, so he would shoot his 2 free throws for the shooting foul, and then the white team would have 2 free throws for a technical division line throw-in. Opposite table. Okay.
Just remember, if a kid's ejected, he does not leave the bench.
That's correct.
Correct. Okay. Next play. So here's another situation where it's way too many ads. I've never seen so many ads in my life. What in the world?
Were you watching Grey's Anatomy?
I'm not watching. What are you talking about? I don't even know what Grey's Anatomy is. I do, but I don't watch it. I'm sorry. I don't watch it.
Oh, he threw the ball at him.
Okay, so yeah, so we have a defensive foul first, and then we have a player throw the ball down at the player on the floor. Now, the trail official has the call on the blocking defensive foul, and the lead official comes across to give the technical. My question to you is do you really think that's technical worthy? Let's see if we can run it again and give me your thought process on it.
Yes.
Hang on.
Be if the ball made contact.
Hang on. Come on. Let's go forward here. It's gonna, there we go. Okay, here we go. All right. All right, so defensive foul. Now, here's the thing. Okay, and you can't hear what the commentator's saying, but this is what he's saying. That offensive player, when he hears the whistle, he thinks he's stepped out of bounds or stepping out of bounds. Okay? So if you were stepping out of bounds or going to be going out of bounds with the ball, what would you do naturally? Throw it off the other team. Okay? So that's my point in this is the lead official is very quick to give a technical foul in a situation where you shouldn't be so quick to give a technical foul.
Unless the temperature was way up.
If the temperature is up potentially, but okay, we can't judge that based on this. Yeah, understood there's a lot of other variables that could factor into this. Okay? But let's take all those away and let's just examine the play the way it is. The way it is. No talking. The play has not been, it's not been dirty or even really that physical. It's just been a normal game.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would just talk to the players, what I would do there.
Oh yes.
Be careful throwing when you do that, man, 'cause you whack the dude in the head.
Exactly. That's just a conversation instead of a technical foul. Okay.
You gonna call it off?
I will not call a technical foul on that.
No, let's say the guy calls a technical and then
Oh, no.
I come to you and it's like, he was just.
Well,
and can he?
You got to be careful with that.
I know, I'm asking. Can you take a technical foul back?
You can. You can.
Just explain it.
So if you have the technical foul, okay, and I may walk over to you and say, hey, Al, what'd you have the tech for?
Yeah.
Well, he threw the ball off the kid's head or whatever. And I said, well, did you ever consider that he might have just felt like he was going out of bounds and just a natural, reaction to going out of bounds? And then I'm going to let Al make the decision from there. I'm giving Al information. He called the technical. It's his to live or die with. He can stick with it or he can take it back.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not going to go over there to Al and say, Al, you can't call that technical foul.
No.
I'm not going to do that. Okay? I can't do that. I'm simply going to give him basic information so that he can, make a final decision. Yep. That's it.
So basically,
Chris.
When that happens, you let Al make that call because, like, checking out the demeanor of the players and.
If Al's the one that makes the call, I'm going to let Al finish the call.
He's going to think about the demeanor of the player, how the whole play went. And
Yeah, I'm just going to give him, like I said, I gave him that basic information, and then I let him finish it. Let him just take it from there. So, and listen, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to do to take something back like that. It's really not, because it's kind of for all of us, it's kind of a pride thing, okay? It's kind of like, okay, yeah, I got the technical foul. There's no way that I'm going to take it back. It's too late for me to do that. I'll look bad if I do that. I mean, that's the thought process. I've been there. We've all been there, I'm sure. Okay. However, is it the right thing to do for the game? That's what you should consider. Is it the right thing to do for the game? Now, again, temperature aside, if the temperature of the game is different, then I might not even go to Al. And I might not go to Al and say, hey, Al, why did, or say what I said to him. Okay? I might just be like, okay, yeah, good technical, Al. We need to make sure this game stays under control. And we can't allow stuff like that to, make players get angry and upset and do other stupid things. Okay? Does that make sense? So these are all factors, okay? But you have to factor everything. Okay? Factor everything based on where you're at in the game.
It seems like C would have a better whistle on that. Because
C is way over here. Well, actually, I'm sorry. Yes. Well,
he's blocked out.
that's true. It was C. It was C that had the blocking foul. I said it was trail, but it was C. Yeah, you're right. But he called the foul too. He called the initial foul. So like he's
Call or the C call?
C. Oh, this guy over here. This guy called the. Yeah.
All right, I'm good with that.
Yep. Jason.
Real life scenario.
Yeah.
Noah is chasing down a loose ball towards the division line. He grabs it, and just like out of bounds, you turn and throw it back in, but he's trying to prevent the backcourt violation. So he grabs it, and he jumps, and he just turns and throws, smokes a kid square in the face. What's that called?
Again, so it's a judgment. It's a judgment by the official. Okay, if I judge that play to simply be trying to, make a play to save the ball, to save possession, then I'm probably not gonna call a technical foul. Okay, what I may do is say, hey, that looked bad. So if you're gonna throw it off an opponent next time, try to, aim for the feet. But, at the same time, that may be hard to do, right? I'm not going to say all that, but I'm just going to, I'll have a quick conversation with the player. So it's more of a perception thing, like the other coach sees, obviously, the ball in the face, okay? And so the other coach is now emotional and wants something called, okay? So I'll have the conversation with the player so that the coach can see that. But at the end of the day, if I judge that player to simply be trying to make a good play and maintain possession, it doesn't matter where it hits the player, in the face, in the groin, it doesn't matter. Okay? If I judge it to be a legitimate attempt to keep possession, I will not call a technical foul. But that's a judgment. It's a judgment by each official. Okay? And each official is going to judge, everyone's going to judge that differently. But there's no rule that says if you throw a ball in a player's face, it's a technical foul. You can't find that in the rule book. Right? Now, if
stop it right there on that loose ball though, because obviously the ball bounced off his face. It's going to be bounding.
Oh yeah, does it go right out of bounds? I didn't even ask that question.
No,
I would just check on the player.
Oh, it kept playing. Oh, he comes up and does what? An intentional?
Oh yeah.
An intentional foul. Okay, interesting. All right, well,
The only two people
yeah.
in the gym that wasn't upset was Noah and the player he hit.
Yeah. Right?
Each other up.
See, everybody was upset. Everybody because of the perception of the play, everybody wanted something other than the two players that knew exactly what was going on.
And a weak official made a bad call. In my judgment.
I would say the same. I haven't seen the video, but I would assume the same thing. So yes, the point. Yeah. So okay, since the ball is not dead, then would I stop and check the player? No, not if the team gets the ball and is going to the basket for a shot.
Unless you got blood.
Bouncing and you got the kid's face is smashed.
If he's smashed, if you got blood, yes, okay. But then we go into injury situations where we have to judge whether we feel like the injury is severe enough to stop play or continue, based on where the ball is and what's going on, right?
And now no more backward.
Yeah.
Because it was the defender who last touched it.
Exactly. So, good.
Somebody have possession before
Yeah.
you do that.
Yep. Okay. So obviously we're not getting to violations at all today because we have 15 minutes left and we're still on fouls. I am so bad at this, but anyway. Let's see here. I think we've discussed enough flagrant intentionals, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to go to the next one here. Let's get through the foul stuff here. All right. We got two more. We got I'm gonna do this one first, and then we'll do incidental contact last. Okay, so this one's next here. Hand is part of the ball. Okay, Anybody ever heard that? All right, well, let's look at a play. This is an NBA play again, but this is good. The commentary on this is good, but again, can't hear it. We'll get to the play here in just a second. Okay, now you can't see it very well there, but you're about to see it right here. All right, so he clearly hits his hand. I didn't pause it at the right time. Here, this will be a good view here. He hits his hand, okay, but his hand's on the ball. All right, so now this is not a tip. A lot of times we'll see this, we're not going to have this level of play, obviously, in our game. So you may not see this type of play at the basket. Where you're probably going to see a play similar is with a dribbler, okay? With a dribbler, when I'm dribbling the ball and a defensive player swats down, and you might even hear the slap, okay? Ball goes down, and the defender gets it and goes the other direction. Is that a foul? Absolutely not, because the hand is part of the ball, okay? Now, the wrist is not, okay? So if there's contact here as opposed to here, that's different. Again, if your hand's on the ball, okay? So that was all I wanted to, make sure everyone was aware of there are times when that's a no call, You can pretty much foul someone without it being a foul by rule, okay? All right, and then here's some other some other things here with incidental contact. So we'll look at some plays with incidental contact here. Let's go through to the actual plays. All right. So now, this is a hard angle, too far away for us to see, but as you get closer, you're going to see that the offensive player hits the defensive player in the face with his elbow, okay? So would anybody have an offensive foul on that?
No.
That's a normal basketball movement.
Yeah, he had him beat.
He had him beat. It's a normal basketball movement. Unfortunately, the defensive player got the brunt of it by getting an elbow to the face. That is the true definition. That looks like Ed Roof in the lead, too. But that's a true definition of, yeah, it does. Ed, that looks like you, absolutely.
I ain't that big.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. You're not that big. The neck up, it looks like you. Anyway, all right. So, but that's incidental contact based on our rules. Even though you're going to have to stop play because of this, because he's, whether or not he's bleeding, I don't know, but he's got his hand down on his nose and he clearly got hit. Okay, so and then the coach is going to be like, well, why didn't you call a foul? Incidental contact by rule. Okay, all right. Yes, James.
Do you blow it dead before or after the shot?
No, I'd wait for the shot to finish. Yeah. You wait till a change of possession, shot's finished. Clear possession of the ball by someone, and yeah.
If the player shoots it and then there's an offensive rebound, would you blow it dead then?
Not if he continues to shoot. No,
Okay.
no. But once the ball goes out, or there's a change of possession, or the ball goes in, then I would blow it dead. All right. Next play. Oh, that's the same play. Sorry. There's more plays than just... Okay, here we go. Here's one. Equally favorable positions. All right, so we talked about this already earlier on. Now, this one, I disagree with this one, actually. I disagree with this being incidental contact. You tell me what you think. These two guys right here coming up. Now we'll get a closer look at it. So upon first glance, what do you think? Incidental? Equally favorable positions. You had two, and here, they're going to show it here in slow motion. Oops. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so he's saying basically these two players are in an equally favorable position right now. Would you agree with that? They are. They're both going side by side, and the ball has left his hand. They're both going side by side to go get the ball. So right now everything's fine. Okay. That's what he's saying. Equally favorable position. And then, now, do you really think that that's incidental contact by the white player?
No.
See, so he's wrong on this one, in my opinion.
Foul right there,
Not intentional.
but it is a foul.
I would go foul on White all day on this play. Yes. Because yes, they are, to begin with, they are in equally favorable positions. But that White player then brings his arm across like this to try to get the ball, creating contact worthy of a foul.
Trying to get
Yes.
advantage.
Okay. That is not an incidental foul, incidental contact play. That is a foul on White. Okay. So, but he's saying it's incidental contact.
Step left. It looked like the black player might have stepped left in front of the white player on the way to the ball, too.
Maybe, but here's the thing, and you can see what happens on the play too. Again, like this is too much to ignore, in my opinion. It's too much. It's too much to ignore.
I think that'd be an easy call.
I think so too. Yeah, but again, this guy's usually pretty good, but he's got this one wrong.
Did they have a whistle
Ain't as
on?
good as you.
No, they did not, because look, number 20 was like, "Where's the foul?" No foul call.
The referee,
Nobody's calling. Yeah.
he just says other way.
Yeah, nobody. They're not calling it. They're not calling anything. So again, I think they missed it, and it should be this guy's call too. By the way, the center official he's in good position. He should have the call in that play. Okay, so that's not incidental contact. Unhindered participation is next. What does that mean? All right, so here we go. Boom. Incidental contact. Yeah, because nothing happens.
He didn't try.
Okay,
He didn't lose the
so
ball.
there is clearly contact there. Okay, but again, now let me just say, obviously this is in a college game, or is it pros? I can't.
It's called a NFHS network, so probably high school.
Oh, this is NFH. Oh, it looks like bigger kids, but okay. So it is a high school game. However, these kids are a little more skilled. Okay, so like if we have, I have such varying levels of basketball to officiate that you will officiate through my assignments that you can't apply this the same way at every level. Okay, so keep that in mind. At this level and above, you can apply it this way. When a player can play through some marginal contact or some incidental contact, then it should be ruled as incidental and there should be no whistle. Okay, but when you have like an eight-year-old that gets bumped like that, well, first of all, the 8-year-old is not going to stay upright or continue to dribble. Okay, he's going to travel, he's going to fall on the floor, whatever. Okay, then you got to call a foul. But even at this level, okay, if that player, as a result of the bump, loses the ball, travels, then it should be called. Okay, so the only reason it's not called is because it's unhindered participation. Okay, it doesn't hinder him from continuing.
Hey, Tim, one thing officials are guilty of, when a offensive player initiates a contact and wants you to bail him out, as a slang term, going into the paint, out of control, and there's contact, and you don't call it on the defense. I call it incidental contact, and the offensive player is initiating the contact.
Well, then why would you? Yeah.
I know, but and another thing, last second shot, they shoot it and fall into the defender. How many times have you seen that? You've been in basketball a long time, and they want you to call the foul on the defense.
I'm not calling the foul on the defense if the defense is legal. We went over legal guarding position.
I know, but I'm just telling you, that happens so many times.
I'm going to call the foul on the offensive player.
Or call nothing.
It depends on the play, but based on what you said, the two plays you talked about, or just the two, the way your word track was, I would call offensive foul on both of them.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we can't look at it. I'm not looking at a video of it, but
yeah.
based on what you said, I think everybody in the room agrees offensive foul,
Yeah.
right? If the defense is legal, you can't call it on the defense. But if offense initiates contact, I don't care if it's the last second shot or not,
No, but you know what I'm saying.
You call the foul.
Last second shot, you see them.
call the
in
offensive
that
foul. Yeah.
and
Oh,
they
well.
shoot, and then that's what I'm talking about. And then they want you to bail them out and call a foul. So I'm just saying, for the younger guys.
From half court, you talk. Okay, I didn't.
At the 3-point line, something. It's just something you have to be aware of and know what to call or what not.
Yeah, well, and we're not going to be able to look at some of these other videos, but there are some plays of offensive players kicking their leg out, okay, which again, if the offense initiates the contact and the defense is legal vertically or whatever, then it's more than likely a no call, okay? But if it's excessive, or if that leg kick out, trips the defender or kicks him in the in a not a very nice spot, then then you got to go the other way, right? Okay. So anyway, I can't just keep saying kick him in the nuts. I've said that like 3 times today, but anyway, sorry. All right. Screen outside visual. Yeah, but this is on video, so I'm trying to keep it somewhat clean. Brandon will just knock that part out. No, okay. All right, screen outside visual field here. So what do you got on that one? Defense, offense. Was the screen legal?
Yeah,
Looked legal to me.
yeah, see, he came set.
Hold on, after he set, look.
Legal. Visual field. He's saying he's legal. Firms up. That's fine.
Yeah,
Defensive player initiates the contact and runs through him.
yeah, kind of blows up the screen there a little bit.
Yep. That's a defensive foul.
Really close, because there's no time and distance on that either when he gets set. There's not.
Now again, he's saying that's incidental contact. That's not incidental contact.
It's not
Okay.
incidental contact,
No,
for sure.
not incidental. But the offensive player is legal. The screener is legal. Okay, and the defensive player clearly initiates contact and knocks him to the floor. That's the key. So if he creates some contact and they stumble back a step, but they stay upright and can continue to play, then we don't have to call it. That's incidental contact. But when players go to the floor as a result of that contact, it has to be called a foul. And that's
So that man says it's no whistle there?
that man says it was incidental contact, no whistle.
Well, he said.
You need to have a better video.
No, I put him up here on purpose so we could.
There's no time and distance in high school, I don't think, right?
No, there's definitely time.
There's time and distance on screens outside of visual field. There is time and distance on screens outside of visual field.
4:45.
Is that what he was saying though? That it was outside his visual field?
No, he was saying it was within his visual field, which it was because it was on the side of him. Yeah. All right. Well, man, I got lots of violation stuff too, but we're at 3:30, so I got to stop. It's so sad.
I gotta go watch Ryder Cup.
Oh, you can watch the Americans get beat, get kicked in the you know what.
We're at 4 matches.
But they'll win the fight on the in between the holes.
Oh
They'll
yeah.
win the fight.
Oh, and the fans are.
Yeah, I wanted to see.
You can shut that off. Sorry.
I want the Shimbo on my side.
The fans are out of control.